welcome to Eden Fractal meeting number 57. Today is Wednesday, July 5th, and I'm here with my good friends Eric and Lisa, looking cool, and Andrew and Duane and Rosmari and Tadas and Patrick. We'll probably have some more people rolling in the next few minutes. We're about 3 or 4 minutes away from 16 UTC when we start Eden Fractal Consensus Games, and I have a quick presentation to share with updates from last week and recent weeks, and then also topics on the agenda for the Agendas game today after the breakout rooms. And we have Lisa's dog joining us now too. Nice to meet you, Lisa's dog. How are you? If anyone would like to say hello or share a few words before I jump into the presentation, then feel free. Or if you want to give a wave or anything, great to see you all. And thanks everybody for watching, by the way, on the Eden Creators YouTube channel. Hope everybody's doing good. I suppose feel free to jump in if you want. But oh, and there's Tadas. Good to see you, Tadas, at the firmament. I suppose I'll get here sharing the screen because time is of the essence and we have a lot going on today. So I will welcome everybody once again with the edenfractal.com/welcome, where I am working with Rosmari and several other people on building a welcome guide that is coming here with some introductory information about what is Eden Fractal. These will be updated soon, but anyway, it has a nice start of the page. And edenfractal.com, which I recently updated a few weeks ago, which has also a nice introduction about the games and the videos and shows and the tools that we build and how everybody can RSVP. Every Wednesday we meet at 15:30 UTC and play games. You can join whenever you like. Rosmari put out a message sharing Eden Fractal number 57 is open, and also I've been working with Rosmari. She did an awesome job editing videos this week, so huge thanks to Rosmari for promoting and helping to edit videos. I encourage everybody to share with your friends too. If you want to share this in different Telegram groups or Discord or Twitter, we want to start promoting it a lot more, and we have some really exciting plans to promote Eden Fractal and all the great community members here, and also all the great tools and games and shows that we're creating. So please feel free to share with friends and invite cool people who you think will help out the community. With that, I will give a little recap of recent weeks. So I mentioned that Rosmari's been helping out with the recent videos. We were a few weeks behind because we were doing a lot of different stuff with new video creation techniques and NFT creations and all sorts of stuff like that, which I'll explain in the agendas topic that we posed. In the past 2 weeks, we had Eden Fractal pitch sessions where we pitch public goods. Andrew Ware is here today. Welcome, and huge thanks to Andrew Ware for joining. He's the product owner at Pomelo, and we've had some great discussions. So Pomelo is a crowdfunding platform for public goods with the EOS and Antelope community, and over the past 2 weeks we've held Eden Fractal, Pomelo, and public goods pitch sessions, and we amplified this with Signals game. So really cool stuff. You can see that at edencreators.com/pitches, and these videos will be released. Hopefully we'll be caught up this week. We released 2 videos this week, and we'll release 2 this next week, but you can see the topic suggestion in edencreators.com/pitches where you can learn more about that. And last week, Lisa also made a poll asking if Alien Worlds votes should be refreshed weekly, to which the community reached consensus and voted yes. You can learn more about this at edencreators.com/alienworldsfractal. There's a section about the various recommendations that Eden Fractal has been making to Alien Worlds. We work with Michael, the creator of the game, and many other great developers and builders in the community, such as Lisa and Duane and Eric, and many more. And we've had several meetings here where you can see where we've been signaling support. And yeah, basically the vote decays after some time, so we reached consensus to refresh the votes. And so I put out a post this morning or earlier today talking about how I refresh the votes as the representative, and there's more details here that you can learn at t.me/edenfractal, which we're also talking about as a great way to learn about all the recent news about Eden Fractal and stuff that's going on. Find the Zoom link for each meeting. You can also watch the full video where we reach consensus about recommending Vlad and Red on planet Eyeke, because that's been recently released, and the full video from Eden Fractal number 56 and 55 will be coming out soon. On the agenda today, we are going to be playing Agendas, which is a social coordination game that helps communities create agendas and choose discussion topics and work together to do all sorts of things that are very exciting together, make decisions together. My Zoom window is over make decisions, so I was trying to read it. You can learn more at edencreators.com/agendas, and I believe the only 2 topics on the agenda I proposed just a little while ago. One is T57, the future of collaboration, creative collaboration, T57, because it's a topic for the 57th meeting. And so in this week's meeting, I could provide some updates about our recent Signals games and video productions from our anniversary and public goods sessions, as I was mentioning. And I can also announce the winners of each games and plans to distribute prizes with the Eden Fractal software and NFT tools. I'll also share some plans about the future of creative collaboration, creating awesome video clips, and incentivizing more amazing content with new Signals games. Gnome shared some awesome ideas about that. He couldn't make it today; he gets in the going on, but he said he'll miss everybody who's joining Eden Fractal, and also a bit of an update about how we can organize this with Notion and how this can help us grow a lot to help many more people in second year, and also pioneer workflows for all communities with social consensus games. You can see the video from the Eden Fractal anniversary that recently was released, and we're going to be, I want to publish clips from there, but I'll go in more details. And then I also put up another question, basically asking, are you cool with Eden creators producing and promoting video short clips that feature your work at Eden Fractal? So you can read it here, and we'll go into more details, but basically all these clips, I have a vision where we can create like dozens of amazing video clips each meeting. We'll have to get some more funding and more promotion to get it out there, but basically I'm wondering if that's cool with everybody, and there's some details here that I can get into more details here, especially the speeches. We had some really inspiring speeches from everybody during the speeches game and the public good session, so it'd be great to publish that in short form content. There's more details about this at edencreators.com/dams, decentralized autonomous media studios, and the speeches game at speeches and edencreators.com/57, where you can find the proposals, the top proposals for today, as well as some links to these articles. Anyway, this has been a longer presentation than I had expected, but you can see the links in t.me/edenfractal, and we will be getting into going to the breakout rooms to play Eden plus Fractal, as we have done for the past several months now. And if anybody has anything you want to jump in, share any quick comments or questions before we jump in, then feel free to do so. If not, then I can open the breakout rooms and we can get into it. Ooh, that was a long one. Everybody ready to go? Everybody ready to go? I'll repeat. I guess I'll just start it up then. I see Tadas smirking, so I'll take that as sufficient reason. And yeah, another thing too related to this. So we only have 8 people right now, which is the least people we've had any breakout room any time so far. So we should really start promoting it more to get more people to enjoy these. I mean, it's awesome. We have 8 amazing people here, if I may say so myself, in my humble opinion. Yeah, it'd be great to get the word out more, and I'm looking forward to the discussions after the breakout rooms to figure out how to do that in the best way possible. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining. The rooms are now open, and hope you have an awesome time. Hey all, hey Tadas, Andrew. Bonjour. Buongiorno. All right, so I suppose first, would anybody like to lead the room, like host/moderate it? If so, then feel free to do so. If not, then I can. Or if anybody has any comments or things on your mind that you want to share, or if anyone wants to just jump into their pitches, that's cool too. If not, that's cool. Would anybody like to kick us off and start us off? Or say anything?
All right, I'll go.
All right, cool. Thanks, Eric.
So, I'm very interested in the connection between our R&D field here, where we test things out and doing it and moving them into our metaverse, which is a sandbox where we test this stuff out with real people who aren't necessarily into Eden, or, as a passion, they're interested in something else. And that becomes a tool set, and then moving that from the sandbox into the real world. So, when it comes to our sandbox, so last week was our first week, so I was appointed to be the community manager for the governance committee for Eyeke council, and we got good 4 members to help. We defined what the heck the committee is. We talked about what data means and where that is. And then we picked a couple marketing efforts to move forward on. And we decided from Dan's idea of let's just play games and we'll educate them that way rather than bring them hard. Let's give them simple steps to teach them what they need to know without realizing. It's like when kids watch Sesame Street or Blue's Clues. They don't know they're being trained. They just have fun. And so we picked open mic night at Lisa's coffee shop. And Lisa's coffee shop is at the Center for Governance building, which you can see on my screen. It's the top floor. there with the great views. And so we talked about designing Lisa's coffee shop and how we may go. I still need help in doing that, figuring out how we're going to design it. Do we put in a grant or whatever? But I talked to the design committee also. But we're doing open mic night there, and we're giving them governance tools to select the winner. So we're just going to do that for fun. So we came up with that. Other events, we came up with a governance panel, getting people to talk about governance in general. We agreed to sponsor the unconference within our new event space within the Center for Governance. So our events hub will be the spot of the unconference. So we worked a lot that. We also figured we needed a spaceport to come. So we worked on designing and naming a spaceport. So far, we have 3 potential names for the spaceport. And then we went ahead and published our website for the Center for Governance. And we also have a video that Dan's going to make the link available for me. So we can put it on our website, which just shows how to make instant websites. Very simple, using Super and hooking it up to Notion, but just so people know. And Vlad agreed to do a video on how to set up fractalgram and record a fractalgram meeting. So we're going to put that up there too. We talked about further integration of Eden and how that's going to go by giving them offices, and how we bring Eden into Eyeke and fractal worlds. We also talked about communications, the idea to collaboratively create, share, and create and distribute information about governance through collaborative media studios. So we put a media hub in the Center for Governance. And talking to Duane, we talked about the fact that people don't know how to negotiate, what it even is, the simple way to do that. So I created a course design outline framework for a negotiation course with references, all that. And then this week I published those on the education hub part of that page. So now we need to update the communications hub, the coordination and the conflict resolution page, the tools page, and the data page. So there, that's what we did. Oh, and I played with the logo for the Center for Governance there. So there you go, Andrew. Good to see you. Haven't heard from you for a while. So what? Oh, and in the real world, I'm working with the Fallbrook Art Association, Inc. So I met with a board member on Saturday, and over about 4 hours of wine tasting, we solved all the problems of the world and set up the next step. So I will be presenting to the board, I think the last Thursday of this month. But we just hired a new center director, so we've been going through that too. So that's a very well-funded, famous organization. So moved up the art fractal work to probably a whole nother level. Andrew, you're over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. That's cool to hear all the stuff you've been doing. I'm assuming it sounds like that coffee shop is in the metaverse, right? That's not a meat space coffee shop.
Yes, that's correct. It is a virtual coffee shop, and it's there for people to hang out, do networking events, just have fun, have the view. But it'll also be a great place when we have the unconference. So not only will there be spaces in the events hub that people can hang out at Lisa's coffee shop, and my understanding is that you will be able to order real coffee and have it delivered, you know, coffee like in coffee beans kind of thing.
That's very cool. Cool. Well, I guess I don't have that much to share, Eden Fractal wise. I'm happy to join. I guess I did give a little bit of feedback in terms of the discoverability of the Zoom room. But yeah, I'm excited to see all the stuff that everyone's been working on, and I think more specifically seeing the collaboration between Alien Worlds, Planet Eyeke, and the Eden Fractal. It's cool to see. Do I have anything interesting to say? uh, I guess one thing, it's not really Eden Fractal. It's maybe adjacent. But as Pomelo product owner, I've been taking people's feedback in terms of improvements that we could make in order to just make things easier for everyone. So we're currently looking at just trying to redesign the grant application page so that there's way more clarity there, because that seems to be a sticking point. But yeah, I won't go on too much about that. Yeah, I guess probably my time would be best spent passing it off to someone who has been has been doing work.
Well,
So I will. Sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Andrew. I was going to say, by the way, we do only have 4 people in this room, and so if you want to go in more detail, I'd be happy to hear from you. And I'd say, like, we were talking about the best way to frame the goal of the game, so to speak. And I think helping Eden Fractal, like, I appreciate that that you're focusing on helping Eden Fractal, but contributions to EOS in general, or Antelope or Pomelo, like, those are all great contributions as well to the ecosystems, helps fund public goods, help to all sorts of stuff like that. So if you want to go into more details about that, or I know you've also been doing cool music stuff too, so I'd just like to hear about anything you're excited about as well. If you want to take a bit more time, then I'd be happy to hear it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll just go into it real quick. So essentially, one of the big problems that I noticed in the Pomelo kind of process is that there's a lot of unnecessary back and forth. In as much as if the matching partner has not defined something well enough, then it sort of falls to the Pomelo team to be, okay, is this does this qualify for, like, does this count as, for example, a open source, something like that? If maybe what they did is they just forked something and now they have something else. So essentially, we're looking at a few things. One of them is to just clearly communicate with our matching partners. These are the things that you're trying to target with the matching pool, and then communicating that clearly to the grant applicants, because I think that's probably the biggest sticking point. And I mean, the problem is that sort of in the past, the application form is essentially just title, short description, long description, and then has a couple of spots for links. But if what we're looking for are very specific things, what I'm thinking is that people want to see those specific things. I was talking to my fiance about it. She's an artist and she does all sorts of grants. And whenever she applies, there's very specific sort of prompts or questions that the grant organization puts in place, and that allows them to more easily look at stuff and evaluate if it does qualify for whatever grant they're doing. So in light of that, that's sort of priority one, is to just kind of streamline that whole process, because I am sure it's frustrating. Just I've dealt with similar situations with I mean, someone brought up the DMV, which is a really good example of just like institutions that are not designed in such a way where it incentivizes good, like a good customer experience. And that's I think because it's sort of it's somewhat like a government in a way, in terms of most non-governmental organizations. There's lots of other organizations competing, and so whichever one's doing the best is going to rise to the top and it's going to sort of outcompete. But if it's not really a kind of open free market kind of thing, then you're not really going to arrive at that. So anyways, I'm sort of rambling a little bit, but the main idea is Well, so like Pomelo has been sort of traditionally used as essentially a source for funding, but we're trying to reframe kind of what Pomelo is targeting to trying to build people up and trying to allow them to build their own sustainable business, for example, instead of sort of having to continue to rely on coming back to Pomelo to get more funding and get more funding. It's hard to scale like that, you know. So we've been thinking about what sort of business development stuff we can add to allow allow people. Like my vision is that like anybody anywhere can have an idea, prove that they can build that idea using Pomelo, and in the process provide public goods to the ecosystem, and then sort of use that as a launching off point, as a sort of bootstrapping mechanism. So just looking at kind of ways that we can do that, which I think would benefit both kind of the ecosystem in general and also just the individual projects that are trying to build, and allowing like sort of directing the sort of flow there so that people can go to additional sources of funding instead of, again, having to rely on Pomelo for everything. So yeah, that's just a little bit of background on that. Again, not very Eden Fractal related, but as long as we got a small group, might as well share.
Are you working for the Pomelo team?
Yeah. So I was yeah, I was doing writing initially, but then they I guess identified that I care a lot about Pomelo and like have ideas for how to improve it, and so they're like, you should be product owner. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I did some research and now I'm a product owner.
Cool. Yeah, I think you should present these contributions to Pomelo as contributions in Eden Fractal, because a lot of people in Eden Fractal currently have Pomelo grants, and by Pomelo getting better, you're helping contributors to Eden Fractal. And in general, in the beginning, Eden Fractal was, and I think still is, partly it supports contributions to EOS, and so by working on Pomelo, you kind of contribute to that too. So I think you should mention this as a contribution.
Okay, cool. Well, then that's my contribution. And on that, I will pass to you, Tadas.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so this week on the firmament side, yeah, so I was kind of disappointed with current IPFS support in terms of like their implementations, robustness of their implementations. Their like this desktop implementation crashes people's routers, and I don't see much of an effort on their side to focus on fixing that. Well, of course, it's only happening in like, it's probably related, it happens for people whose routers are weaker on resources, but I think still you have protocols like BitTorrent, which doesn't have these kind of problems, and so I think, yeah, it's a problem for firmament. And there is a browser implementation of IPFS node, but it currently does not fully connect to the full IPFS network, simply because the rest of the IPFS network needs to update their nodes. And yeah, so my initial plan was to build the peer-to-peer networking layer of firmament on IPFS, but now I haven't fully like canceled that option, but I mean, it's still possible, but I just don't like to build this new product on something this unstable right now. So I'm considering some other options, and there are, for example, platforms, protocols for peer-to-peer applications, non-blockchain applications, like for example, Holochain is a very interesting project. And I was thinking about simply porting my smart contracts for firm chains to these platforms. This creates kind of a model where this peer-to-peer type of application is just another port of firmament contracts. And yeah, I'm still considering this option. And yeah, we'll see where I will go from there. Also I started doing research on alien worlds. Part of a goal is to design a bounty system. This incited me to do this. So basically it would be a bounty system for fractal ecosystem as well as alien world. And now I'm kind of learning the context of alien worlds, how it works, so that it would integrate with that. Yeah, so I think that's kind of an update about where I'm at.
I'm curious, have you looked into what BBS network is doing? Because I was listening to an interview with the AL Herzog, and he mentioned that they've basically, I think they use a BitTorrent like sort of peer-to-peer data sharing thing. I don't know exactly their implementation, but might be worth reaching out just to see what they do as far as dealing with that. Because the question that he was asked was basically like, are you guys using IPFS? What's the technique? And he was like, no, BitTorrent solved this a long time ago, so we just use that.
Yeah, I've heard about that project, but I didn't know we were using BitTorrent or that kind of peer-to-peer.
I don't know if it's open source, so I don't know if you'd be able to find out, but just thought I mentioned it because it seemed somewhat relevant.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I've also got an article about BBS because I created edentalk.com, which hasn't been used a great amount yet, but I think it's a good foundation for a future social network there. And edencreators.com/BBS, where I linked some of, because there's several different sites. There's BBS Market and there's BBS Network, and so it could be a little bit confusing, but perhaps that site I curated, edencreators.com/BBS, can help you there. And I do think that a lot of it is open source, but I'm not sure if it all is open source. And yeah, happy to discuss this further if there's any way I can help, of course, as always with us. Cool. So I guess you're very welcome. I suppose that I will jump into sharing what I've been doing over the past week or so. And so I just put this together here, so hopefully I remember things. There's so much going on. And it's loading. Okay, cool. So first thing I'm sharing here is the edencreators.com/57 article, which I briefly presented before, and I'll save most of this for later, but I did make these two top proposals, and I've been working a lot on this. I called it the future of signals and dams, but I renamed it creative collaboration because I think it's a lot bigger and helpful, and also I realized I just did the links wrong, but anyway, never mind that. But yeah, I put up these, and I'm going to be talking about these. Basically, I've been working a lot on figuring out how to promote Eden Fractal as much as possible with creating awesome videos. And there's that site that I've referred to many times, edencreators.com/dams. I think that the games and experiments we've done over the past few weeks with like the signals games where people can share inspiring speeches and public good speeches, in addition to these kinds of pitches and presentations where we share our work, I think that we can get to a point where we're producing videos every week and producing lots of short video clips that can help get the word out about what we're doing. And I think that's one of the tremendous value adds that we can do. So I've been working a lot on there. I've been training Rosmari, and I'm planning to train another friend to help edit videos, to catch up on videos. and then also working on workflows to distribute NFTs at each event. And I am working a little bit with Vlad on getting the Eden Fractal software deployed on the Eden Creators account and other accounts too to start expanding, but did more of that last week because Vlad's been a bit sick this week. I also hosted Eden Town Hall 54 this week, and we had quite a good episode. There was, I guess, like 10 people or so who joined. There was Lenny, Chief Delegate, Lovejoy from the ENF, Patrick, and Rosmari, and Brad, and Nicola, and Noam, and stuff. So I worked with Rosmari to produce this. I haven't been able to produce the past like 15 episodes or so for it because I haven't had time and resources to do so, but I figured being that the election was coming up soon and we had a great episode, that this would be a good way to get the word out. And so I'm working on editing this, and there's also show notes for this too that I put together, just kind of brief show notes at edentownhall.com/54, where you can see what we discussed. I'm going to do this a bit better, but we recap the Eden Fractal Pomelo pitch sessions, talked a little bit about the conversations and the experiences with Andrew and the Pomelo team this season, where I put out the Fractal Apple and Eden Town Hall grants and the Eden Creators grant that wasn't approved, as well as links to our back and forth that Andrew had briefly mentioned, or just in general, but we had some back and forth in the Pomelo chat, as well as on the town hall, where I linked some different parts. We had conversations, and we also had other things we discussed, the EOS price index and Eden Fractal updates and Alien Worlds updates that are taking a little while to load, but I'll share more of that soon. And we also discussed Eden on EOS updates and stuff like that. So it was a great episode overall, and I'm working to publish that within the next couple of days, getting more organized with the Eden Creators YouTube channel and starting to publish a lot more, especially with Rosemary's help. She's been doing awesome work with video editing, and for some reason that's coming up. I have a couple of windows coming up randomly here. You can check the links at t.me/EdenFractal. I also, one of the things I linked there was the fireside chat, where I joined for the past 2 weeks and talked about Pomelo and Eden Fractal and social consensus games and so forth. There's a big thing where there's a disagreement about games and the definition of games and so forth, so we talked about that a bit. And then I also was working to help the Pomelo team, because I think that what we're doing, I think, can help a lot with both making it more fun and exciting with the kinds of games that we're doing, like inspiring people to make like fun Pomelo pitches or like musical Pomelo pitches and stuff like that, and then also with improving like the transparency or like empowering communities basically to help make decisions. So I feel like there's all sorts of benefits, and there was like 70 people on the call that I spoke for quite a while here, and then I linked to it on there. And I'm also working on an article to curate all the stuff I've done on the fireside, but doing some outreach to raise more funding and raise more awareness and potentially partner with organizations like Pomelo if they're interested in doing so. I think there's a lot of benefits. Martin reached out to me, and I'm planning to make a proposal. I started writing a proposal for the Pomelo team, so perhaps we can discuss that sometime, Andrew. Yeah, basically I think that the signals and the fractals games can really help, or if you want to call them whatever, tools or whatever, but I think they can really help Pomelo, and I think it'd be awesome to make more public good. So I have some ideas both about how signals could help and potentially how fractals can help and ways we can see that. There's a lot more ideas that I'm working on there, and then also I contributed some grants on Pomelo. That's also a cool contribution, I think. Not a huge amount this season, but I donated like 50 EOS, mostly people who are participating in the Eden Fractal Pomelo collection. Moving on, I also, well, on a really great note, actually, I've been working a lot on the signals game, which I think might be one of the best value propositions for Pomelo, in addition to potential like Pomelo Fractal, which could be, I think, really cool. But then also just for all communities, I think it could make us way more efficient, help us make more videos, be more efficient at making proposals and stuff like that. I have an article here at edencreators.com/signals, and it's kind of, I'm going to be talking more of this soon. And there's some videos where I introduced it, and then lots of articles where I'm going to like curate this better because it's kind of outdated, but lots of more new ideas I've been working on. This has been one of my main focuses now, to introduce this kind of signals app or signals game where communities can do votes for like social consensus games where they compete to do cool stuff and rank each other. I've done a few signal sessions with Noam and Rosmari. Noam is like a wizard with Google spreadsheets. That's how we've been operating the demo so far. And so I recorded a call with Noam for a few hours this past week where he shared how to do this, and we were working on the signal spreadsheet that I introduced during the anniversary, where basically, if people aren't familiar, it takes in the weekly rankings over the past 12 weeks and the delegates, the amount of times people have been a delegate over the past 12 weeks, and calculates a signal score or signal power people can vote. This can obviously be a different algorithm, but this is what we used for the past 3 times we tested this so far at the anniversary, and also the 2 Eden Fractal pitch sessions. So the first time we did it manually, I'm going to be announcing it there. We used an app called Slido as well, and Slido exports results. You can see it's loading up right here, but you can see like each person gets the ability to rank who they think shared the most useful speech or the most entertaining speech and so forth. And then we enter that into this Google spreadsheet where thanks to GNOME's calculations, we have like pivot tables and stuff like that that go and calculate the rankings. So I worked on that with GNOME for quite a while to demo the software and calculate the winners. And then we're creating the video. And I also, one of the things I mentioned on the fireside chat was collaborating with the EOS Nation team and the PinX team, which can automate that with the EOS blockchain. And then GNOME also mentioned the idea of using quadratic funding or quadratic loading for that as well, in addition to the what we did. I looked into Gitcoin's building the Allo protocol, which is, I think, open source on EVM tech stack. And the founder, Kevin Eyeke, shared like a thing where you could do this in seconds. So I'm wondering if we can also play signals games with quadratic voting with Pomelo or Gitcoin or whatever kind of software available too. So that'd be interesting to discuss. As Eric said, I worked with Eric on, I met with Eric and we did a video about the super tutorial to build the website. And I also took some notes here. And yeah, one of the really cool things was starting up like open mic nights, like gamified social open mic nights where people can play games like Fractal DJ or like best open mic night performance and stuff like that to spread all these helpful ways of cooperating in a really fun way. I mentioned that we were working on videos. I haven't gone over 4 or 5 minutes, so but I think it's okay because we have lots of time. So I'll just wrap it up in the next minute or two. But I worked a lot helping to publish these videos. Some of these I did the video editing, and a lot of it I was training Rosmari on both the video editing and the thumbnail creation and different aspects of it. She's been doing an awesome job. She also has a community stories podcast that I provide some feedback for with Douglas Butner or Gudasol, who's hosting Aquadac. I've been participating in Aquadac for just about every week for the past like 3 or 4 months now. He's hosting a meeting where we do fractal consensus games, and we do it to achieve goals. So I've been doing it to connect with my musical career and share more music. So anyway, I've shared more about that in the past, but there's a website here, edencreators.com/aquadac in early stages. So I participate in that and have been helping with publishing videos for him. I've been using Google Drive and getting a workflow to set up for more like scaling up the video production and helping out with that, and also working with Rosmari on the Notion projects feature, which is super powerful way for people to collaborate, which I'll share a bit more about later. Lastly, I think I also hosted the Alien Worlds Fractal, and I also hosted the EO Ship meeting. We have these every other Monday or every Monday at 15 UTC, 16 UTC. 15 UTC, and then the EO Ship on Thursday at 15 UTC. But yeah, I published the video. And then update the Eden Fractal website. And then because of Lisa's question last week, she asked if we're going to refresh votes because there's like a vote decay. So I took care of that in addition to the MSIGs for the Eden Fractal, and I submitted the transaction to refresh the recommendations in the IBC contracts that that Gnome and Michael and Vlad set up, and then I wrote a little message there to summarize that. There might have been more stuff there, but I think I'll wrap it up there. It's been quite long, so thank you all for listening. Happy to answer questions or discuss, and yeah, I'll stop talking there. Also been working a little bit on music making apps to make these meeting more musical, because I think that'll be really fun as well. And I've been experimenting with that at the Alien Worlds Fractal meetings. So I think we have a very exciting year coming up with all these initiatives everybody's been doing. Does anybody have any questions or comments for anybody before we go into consensus?
Just that the Fallbrook Wine Trail is open, which means wine tasting through July and mid-August for $5 a tasting if you have a pass. I happen to have 2. So Andrew, if you feel like one weekend wanting to come wine tasting in Fallbrook, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I love to hear the wine collaborations we have going. In fact, I think that's a first for us. First of many, hopefully.
Soon it will be the main contribution.
Yeah, we could start up a wine fractal or something like that maybe as well.
Do you want me to start fractalgram?
If you don't mind, I'd appreciate that, Tadas. I'm also still in the background trying to get together my presentation for the community room with agendas in the background. I'm curious, by the way, Andrew, while you're here, if you have any thoughts about just those ideas I threw out with potential collaborations with the Pomelo team and the tools we're building and the games we're building and stuff like that. I don't know if there's a lot of information, if it makes sense, or if you want to save a comment for another time, we can have an offline discussion. And I'm also planning to reach out to Martin, who reached out to me, and if Martin's watching this, I've been meaning to get back to him for a while, but yeah, I'm curious if you have any thoughts about it. And I'm very, I think it's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, I think in general, I think it's a good kind of direction to go to try and open up Pomelo and like get the users more involved, both in the decision making process and also just in um, just so that they feel more engaged. And I do think that something like this fractal process is basically very well suited for it. So to be specific, what I'm thinking about is actually, you mentioned quadratic voting. So currently, Pomelo is a quadratic funding structure, which means you take your existing tokens that you purchased from Coinbase or something like that, and you use those to signal this is what I'd like to see made. However, there's also like people have been building up their reputation on Pomelo, so I see tremendous value in being able to tokenize that. I'm almost used the term monetize, but it's more like trying to sort of award tokens based on participation levels, and then using those tokens for quadratic voting. Haven't entirely figured out what it's going to look like, but that's definitely the direction we're trying to go. And I think that this, especially with the fractalgram app, I think it's very well suited for it. So I mean, it's not there's more people involved than just me, so I can advocate for it. We'll see what actually ends up happening. I am very curious. You did mention a musical, sort of looking to incorporate a more musical direction. I'm that sort of piques my curiosity. I'm curious about it. I've always I've tried having band practices over Zoom, and it's impossible because there's even 50 milliseconds of latency is too much. It's so that's like kind of an outstanding problem with music plus these Zoom rooms and stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm kind of curious about what sort of what you're thinking as far as that.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I love that too, and thanks for the feedback and ideas. And regarding music, a couple of different ideas. Well, I mentioned one thing, just for example, I play a lot of like iPad apps that can make music, and so I've been doing that at Alien Worlds Fractal. So like kind of like how Stefan during the EOS Fireside chats, he has where like there's music playing through, and so I figured I could do that, but also be mixing and creating music along the way too. And just make it more musical in general. So whenever there's a moment of silence, there's some fun music, or when people join, there's cool visuals and music and stuff like that. So that's one improvement, just kind of aesthetically. And then on the anniversary meeting that we had about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we debuted a game called Fractal DJ that was inspired by Perry. I'm not sure if you looked into that. I think I mentioned it a bit on the Fireside Chat, but basically we went to breakout
Yeah, I
rooms.
remember you mentioning it. I didn't delve into it. But,
okay.
If that's on the YouTube video, that should be pretty easy to check out.
Yeah, I just worked or I just published that like a week or two ago on the Eden Careers YouTube channel, and you can see that in the 53rd meeting. And then also on edencareers.com/DJ, there's an article where we explained how it worked, so I can link that. And I'm working on cutting a clip. That's one of the things I want to do, because it's like a 10-minute clip. It's very easy to cut this clip. It won't take very long, but in the next week or so, I aim to have a clip of the Fractal DJ specifically. And basically the idea there was that we did like a breakout room like this, and we did it for just 10 minutes. Each person shared a song. They played a song or shared a song on YouTube or whatever, and people ranked like the best song basically. And then people get rewarded according to the fractal process and so forth. So very similar to this, but with the main goal not being necessarily to do like helping your community or Eden Fractal, but just share a fun song, share a great song. And then I've been thinking how we could do that like in person, or the open mic nights that Eric was talking about, at least a coffee shop in the Center for Governance. that could potentially use fractalgram, or it can use the signals game or app that we've been discussing as well, where like basically people who join the meetings and have respect in some way. And as you were saying, you can kind of like tokenize respect or token or something like that to see if people are contributing. Then you empower people to vote and rank for stuff like that. So that's what we did for the anniversary meeting and the public goods pitch sessions, where we had it where people who joined meetings and had been respected in these breakout rooms or like as delegate had more voting power to vote for their favorite speeches. And some of the ones we did was like, who can share the most fun speech, the most amusing speech. So several people, including myself, like we shared a little bit of a musical speech as well. So that's another way that I think that we can get it. Because I imagine, Pomelo and public goods and EOS and all these things, like they're tremendously helpful, and we have to spread the word. And there's places where like TikTok out there with like millions and billions of people watching. So when we can inspire people to make like fun musical dance things that help promote public goods and Pomelo at the same time, and have some way to vote for it, and empower communities to do that, I think that would be really cool. So we make it fun and promoting public goods at the same time. And to what you were saying before about like how to start that, you have great ideas. I'd love to talk with you more about that at some point. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, I had ideas like people who donate on Pomelo or people who join fireside chats. Like those can be ways that you can enable that kind of that voting.
So Dan talked about is spreading the word through fun, which is what Lisa's been talking about too. And I realized we were talking about onboarding new members, getting new members in. So I said, why don't we use fun to attract new members and to teach people about governance? So that's why I recommended an open mic night at Lisa's coffee shop as a marketing effort to start that. If we could do that, you could have open mic nights. People could copy it, everywhere, anywhere, and you could have poetry, music, jokes, whatever you want.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's amazing potential, and I got into EOS and all this stuff because of music largely, because I was trying to figure out how to empower creative careers, and now I think we have the tools to start doing it. So yeah, really excited. Thanks to Tadas for building Fractalgram, and thanks everybody for the amazing work so far that we've done to get there, and really excited for our future musical collaborations and public goods solutions and so forth to help everyone and enjoy it while we do it.
Yeah, and I do plan on having artist contests to put the art in the Center for Governance that's hanging there, like for the unconference. So using that process for people to submit art that will hang.
Yeah, so I posted a link
link
to
to
Telegram group in the Zoom chat.
So if you click on that, it'll bring us to our new tool for voting.
There we go. All right, I'm in.
Okay, now we need to reply to this message that I just posted with our EOS account name. Okay.
Hey, Dan, I'm curious, how much did you pay for your custom EOS account? That's just Dan.
I paid like 75 EOS for it, I think, and at the time EOS was like maybe $2.50 or $3, so it was like a couple $100. It was a bit of an investment.
Yeah, I did one too. It's not as cool as Dan though. See, because Dan is only 3 letters, which means you can fit another whatever 8 afterward.
Yeah,
still fit in the 12 character limit.
I might do Super Dan or something like that at some point. Which one did you do?
I bought Polaris.
Oh, cool.
Which is actually not that good of one because it's only got 5 or 6 digits to use for my subdomains, but whatever.
Yeah.
Live in there.
I also got Fractal as well, which is quite nice. I love the idea of making more fractals, but there's also limitation. I can only do up to 4 or 5, I think. Eden.fractal. I think I can do music.fractal, but I'm not sure if that goes over. But I don't think I could do like musical.fractal or something like that. But yeah, it's nice to have though, and it's a really cool feature. I wish there was more characters, but nonetheless, it's a really cool way to do addresses and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of wish that the improved name bid system as described that sort of emulated the Bitcoin halving process, or not the halving process, but the difficulty adjustment. Thought that was a cool idea. Anyway, that's beside the point. Gonna move on.
Cool. Yeah, there was some really interesting proposal from Dan Larimer back when he first released Fractally, and I just
Yeah.
like the idea of having like infinitely or just like way easier. Like I love the 12 letter thing, but if it was easier, that would be nice. But it's good enough. So far, we have not yet received a vote from one person. I think Andrew, you haven't voted yet.
Yeah, Andrew, do you see a poll in our group, Telegram group?
Yes, yes. Now I see it. So I'm just gonna.
Okay, and it looks like there's one vote for Andrew for myself. Andrew and Eric voted for me, and Tadas voted for Eric. Um, I'll advocate for Andrew here. I appreciate the vote. Oh, you want to say something there, Tadas, or?
No, go on.
Okay, it sounded like maybe you were like something. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway,
No.
thanks for the votes, Andrew and Eric. But I'll also vote for I'll advocate for Andrew here. I mean, Andrew's been. I've always just really appreciated Andrew in general, and especially ever since like ever since the Fractally white paper came out. I remember it was like me and you kind of advocating on the US Fireside chat like a year and a half ago, that 7 hour chat, and I've always had like a huge amount of respect for you ever since then, and before then too, because I was aware of your work before then, but I started to get to know you more around the time and participating in the Eden and fractals and stuff like that. And yeah, I love what you're doing with music and Polaris and Pomelo. As I shared a bit of critical judge, a critical review or harsh judgment, but I hope I didn't come across as too harsh because I really appreciate what you're doing in general, and I'm just aiming to help. And I think that what we're doing, we can have some great collaborations. And yeah, you haven't joined many meetings lately. I know it's pretty early for you, and I figure you're probably very busy, both with your family and your fiance, and then also with what you're doing for US Nation and Pomelo. But yeah, I really appreciate you joining, and I hope that you'll be able to join more often in the future. Eden Fractal meetings. Also, if you're interested in the Alien Worlds Fractal meetings, we've been having some great meetings there. With there's actually more people at that one. There's like 11 or 12 people there, so it's a great way to learn about what we're doing and participate. So yeah, I would love to give you more respect, to just show my appreciation and say thanks, and then also hopefully inspire you to join more and maybe inspire some more future collaborations. I'm happy to go anyway if people want to go a different way too. I think everybody's doing amazing work here, and I appreciate people showing respect for my work too. I've been working really hard at this, but that's my advocacy, and thank you to Andrew.
Thank you. Those kind words are appreciated, Dan. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I would be willing to switch to Andrew for him joining again. I think when new people join or if people come back, it makes sense to reward them.
Yeah, my decision to come back next week is not related to my success here. So you don't have to feel like you need to sweeten the pot, but I'll take it if you want to give it to me.
It sounds good. Well, another thing I'll add too that I appreciate you did. Although I thought that some of your messages, I know you're dealing with other people on the team too, and it seemed like maybe Daniel Keys had some issues with my grant or whatever. I won't get into it here, but I appreciate there were several times that you were like very open to, and as you said there, also coming here and like kind of acting on behalf of Pomelo. Like that's super helpful too, because I think that could be a tremendous opportunity for EOS, Eden Fractal, Pomelo, all these places here. So that's another thing I'll add too, because you've kind of been also advocating for these tools that we're building and these games that we're building, or however, just to help for like a really big potential opportunity. So that's one more thing I'll add, which I appreciate that you've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for context, that's it's not just me, as I'm sure, as you mentioned. It's me, rest of the Pomelo team, and then matching partners too. So it's like anytime there's questions, it kind of goes up the ladder, and then not the best process maybe, but it's yeah, that's just sort of how it was. But one thing I'll mention, anything I mentioned about Pomelo is sort of like what I want to do. So there's other stakeholders at play. So that kind of, if I had a magic wand, I would let's do this, and let's do this. But we've got developers who need to actually implement it, and then we've got also different stakeholders who may have opinions on given changes. But I'm glad to advocate for these kind of fractal things. I've been really interested in it ever since it came out. So yeah, and yeah, glad to join. I often have another meeting at 8:30, so it's sort of a little conflict there, but not today. So
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Andrew. And yeah, whenever you're able to make it, would be appreciated. But respect your schedule. And if you're able to join the other ones too, there's other fractals as well on Mondays and other days. It looks like I have consensus now. So I suppose thanks for voting for me. I think Tadas switched vote to me. So thank you, Tadas. And we can move on. Also, we do have to wrap up in like 7 minutes or so. So I suppose we should be pretty expedient. So sounds good. Should we go on level 5 then? Okay. And it looks like we have consensus on Andrew for level 5. And for level 4, we have consensus on Eric. Also, Tadas has been doing excellent work, but I'm really impressed with Eric's work with the Eyeke Council. I was reading through those messages lately, and he's been doing awesome work, as well as setting up. I'm super inspired with the ideas that you've been sharing. So thank you both, Tadas and Eric, and hopefully Tadas, those issues, IPFS and Holochain. I'm stoked about firmament. If you're not familiar with firmament, Andrew, where firmament is amazing and super helpful. Recommend checking it out.
Well, it's not live yet, so it will be amazing.
Right now, from what I hear, it's amazing, super helpful at shutting your router down. So if you're trying to shutting your router down, I'm just joking. That was an issue that happened. But yeah, it will be amazing, super helpful, and it's already amazingly and super helpfully inspiring. If that makes sense. And if you're
We
watching
need to do a live stream and on tools. Put that on the Center for Governance Tools under Vlad. So we need Tadas and Vlad and everybody to talk about all governance tools, just a panel.
Sounds great. Well, something that can start off the conversation that I can share. I have the page at edencareers.com/tools where I've been curating a lot of the tools that developers have been building here, and then also edencareers.com/firmament where I've been trying to curate Tadas's work and some interviews we had with it, as well as Tadas's Pomelo grant and stuff like that. So recommend people check it out and learn more.
Yeah, we just need to do a live stream on it, just so people that don't want to read can hear, and so there can be a discussion and people can ask questions.
Yeah, that'd be great. I also I gave kind of a pitch / presentation to the Eden on EOS community. There was like 15 developers or 10 developers that Melanie hosted. So I could see if I could share that video publicly. There was some good feedback from developers and questions there about a month ago. But yeah, doing a live stream and setting up would be a great idea. I agree.
Yeah, let me know. We'll put it on the tools page for the Center for Governance.
Sounds great. Let's discuss it offline and figure out the best time to do it. Okay, and then I'm opening up to see who's a delegate, who's interested in being a delegate for this week.
I think I'm starting to expire now.
Oh no, don't expire. Okay, I'm gonna search. I don't know if Tadas probably has it up, but I'm searching right now. Spreadsheet. And it looks like I was elected last week. Tadas was elected 4 weeks ago, so I believe that Tadas has just expired. And Eric, you were elected 3 weeks ago, so you have 1 more week. You have this week remaining.
Does Tadas want to do it, or Andrew?
I have to head out at 10. I got a meeting at 10, but I did vote for Tadas.
Yeah,
Tadas,
I
you want?
can be. Sure.
All right. Sounds good. I also voted for Tadas as well.
Okay, looks like we have full consensus. This is group 2. And yeah, right now, Andrew, you should see the message with a link where you can submit consensus to EOS chain.
The numbers I got 94, 79, FF20.
Yes, me too.
Cool.
Cool.
Should we write anything for number 5 or to, yeah?
I think maybe just Eden
Like,
practice, because I don't know if it'll go through with 4. Does it go through with 4?
No, it didn't go through for me.
Okay, yeah, so for 5, I think just Eden practice would work. I just wrote it in the Zoom chat.
Error.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm getting an error.
Okay, yeah, and it looks like Tadas just shared another link in the fractalgram group. So he added Eden practice at the bottom. So when you click that link at the fractalgram group again, and then you try submit again, then it should work without any issue.
I'm getting CPU error now. Maybe it's just for my account.
I got successfully submitted.
Great.
There was, by the way, an issue from, I got a thumbs up from Andrew, so it looks like you got it. Thanks, Andrew and Eric. I would, Tadas, of course, check your CPU on your account, but then also Aaron from Greymass, he recently announced that there was a bug with CPU, I think. And so if you have 1.39, I believe is the newest version of Anchor Wallet, then that would resolve the issue. I had that issue a couple of days ago. So if you do have sufficient resources in your account, then that would probably resolve the issue if you do have a slightly outdated version of the app.
I have 1312, but I think he
1312. Oh, that's
released
even
one. I think maybe I saw that message. It wasn't it 1313 or maybe not.
I thought I had 1.3.7 previously, and then I updated to 1.3.9 and it worked. But then again, I don't really know. So I think I should probably close out the room. So I will start. There'll be 60 seconds left, but I'll hit close all breakout rooms, and we will return. If Andrew, I think you said you had to go shortly. Well,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah, I've got a meeting right now, but just want to say thank you guys so much. I was pleasantly surprised to be ranked so high, and especially with all the good work you guys are doing. It's yeah, really appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Andrew, for all the great work you're doing too, and really appreciate you joining. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and hope you have a great weekend. And looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, yeah, you guys too. Maybe I'll see you guys on the fireside chat.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
All right. Bye.
Peace. Hello, hello. Hope Hope everybody is doing good. Hope you had a fun breakout room. Looks like Patrick had at the time of his life. Let's bring back Scatter. Lisa's saying apparently Lisa's having some issues with consensus on Anchor.
I just miss Scatter. I'm not being negative on Anchor. I just missed Scatter. Do you remember it? It was so wonderful. I loved it.
I remember Scatter.
I love Encore.
Shout out to Nathan James.
Nathan James.
And
NS James.
Yep, that's all right.
I
NS
think
James,
we should send him some tokens and see what he does with it.
Yeah. But I am creating the AS wallet. It's coming soon.
All right. Looking forward to it.
We need the invisible wallet so no one knows they're dealing with a wallet because it's too hard. That would be really nice. Click here, get your NFT. Click here, get your tokens. Click here, send them. Can anyone do that? Please, pretty please.
I've heard some interesting things about that, so we can get into it another time maybe. But there's lots of interesting innovations coming out. I suppose we can get.
By the way, I have
agenda.
to leave for a bit, and yeah, I just want to say I'm in 10 minutes. I have to leave for like a half an hour or so, and I might be able to pop back in after.
Okay.
And Noam sends his apologies. He can't be here today.
That's fine.
Well, thank you for letting us know, Lisa, and also thanks to Noam if you're watching this out there. Then hope you're doing well, and thanks for letting us know. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
That's July Independence Day in US. In France, it's 14 July. And in Switzerland, it's 1st August. I check my agenda. 1st August is a Tuesday. So I have the pleasure to say that I will be here on the Wednesday. If I am not broken. If I am not broken. Because sometimes you drink a little bit during the fest days. Okay, I see G for C, no, J for C for G, Center for Governance. Okay, that was the 4th July yesterday. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
You celebrated the C4J, indeed.
And there's a holiday that everybody overdid when I lived in Spain, and so they actually created a holiday just for the hangover. It was Dia de la Resaca, Day of the Hangover. So that was a holiday, hangover day.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, yeah. Hope everybody enjoyed their July 4th or Independence Day. Hope everybody's enjoying the week and their time at the Eden Fractal meeting so far. I can get into the topics on the agenda today, if that's good for everybody. If you have any other comments, we have a pretty small group today, so we can also keep it a bit more informal if anyone wants to jump in. But I have some very exciting topics on the agenda that I'm happy to jump into. So if it's cool with everybody, then maybe I'll start sharing those now. All right. Sounds like we have consensus. Let the freedom ring, Lisa says in the chat. So we got some thumbs up from Duane. Thanks, Duane. Duane's been doing surfing, by the way. He's been doing the quadratic meetings every Tuesday at 16 UTC, hosted by Kudasol. And he's been sharing his surfing career progress. Duane's about to become a pro surfer, from what I understand. Not quite. He's going to surf. Yeah, surfing. Yeah, that's right.
On the 4th July?
I don't know. He's been surfing. He's been trying to surf a few times a week. So we'll see what Duane does, and you can learn more about it at the Aquadeck or the videos from the Aquadeck if you want to see, or ask Duane if he wants to share. Surfing talk is very welcome here. But anyway, I suppose I should get into topics, also respect everybody's time. So a couple different things here. I made an article at edencreators.com/57. Thanks everybody for checking it out and reading. If you haven't already, it's at t.me/edenfractal. That's where you can find the link. And yeah, basically I put this together to feature the two different topics that I proposed here about the future of creative collaboration and are you cool with Eden Creators producing and promoting short video clips that feature your work at Eden Fractal. You can read the full text here. I actually reworded this a little bit just to be the future of creative collaboration rather than signals and dams. I think it's better to be a bit more general. And so I can check the topics on Consortium. Well, I mean, first off, as a general note, you can go to edenfractal.com/welcome and go to the section about agendas. social coordination game where we can create agendas together and choose discussion topics and make decisions together. Anybody can make proposals for topics. I didn't see anybody else made a topic on consortium, but I made these two. But in the future, encourage and appreciate when other people make topics. And if you want to lead it with anything that's on your mind that you think would be helpful for the community, then very happy to hear it. And you can also vote for it on consortium to help choose the priority of topics. So in this case, there's been 2 people who voted with about 4K Eden for this one, and 2 people have voted with about 3K Eden for this one over here. So we discussed the one that has more Eden voting for it first. And so I think we'll have time to discuss both topics. I can be pretty concise. We can have a short meeting today if y'all would like, but there is some really exciting stuff so we can get into the details and have a more detailed discussion if you'd like. The first one we'll discuss is the future of creative collaboration. So in this week's meeting, I can provide updates about our recent Signals games and video productions from our anniversary, and also the public goods pitch sessions that we held over the past 2 weeks. I can announce the winners from each games and the plans to distribute prizes with Eden Fractal software and NFT tools like Facings and Bounty Block. Also thinking about doing some manual distributions in time being as I'm working on the technical solutions. We can discuss that. And I'll also share plans to create some awesome video clips, lots of awesome video clips, and incentivize more amazing content with the new Signals games. And also how we can combine that with the new Notion projects feature. We've discussed Notion a few times at Eden Fractal. And this new Notion projects feature uses AI and some other tools to help empower communities to collaborate more effectively. And these innovations can help us grow rapidly in our second year. As we mentioned a couple times, this was, I think, our least attended Eden Fractal meeting. We've had like 10 or 11 people total, and right now there's just 7 of us. So it'd be really awesome to start helping everybody with these innovations. These innovations are helpful for everybody. And so we can grow the community and also grow many other communities like the Alien Worlds Fractal community, the Aqueduct community, the Art Fractal community, and many more that we've all been working on, and so many more that can benefit from these games. And so these workflows can empower all communities to empower their community members with social games. So I could share some of my vision for that. And then afterwards, I asked the question, are you cool with Eden Creators posting and promoting short video clips that feature your work at Eden Fractal? So I'm planning to produce short video clips of speeches from community members during our anniversary and public goods pitch sessions and other means to help promote Eden Fractal. I've been thinking about this for a long time. I see that this way of meeting every week, in addition to being a great way to foster public goods and bring the community together and do great networking and all sorts of great benefits we've discussed, it's also like it enables the next era of creativity, basically collaborative creativity. Like we're all working together, we're all making videos every week. And one of the things I want to do with Eden Creators is start creating dozens of amazing video clips from each meeting. You know, not everybody has time to watch or listen to a 3-hour meeting, and especially if they don't know the value of it, then they might not be incentivized and they may not realize how much value is in it if they don't have the access point with like a shorter engaging video. But when we make videos that are 2 minutes long or 3 minutes long and it shows people sharing amazing reviews of Eden Fractal or sharing how much fun they're having or how helpful it is, then people can understand it much better. We can share it on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram where many people are, so we can help empower all communities. And we've had some great speeches during the anniversary and public goods pitch sessions, and also each week during the breakout rooms. Each person gives like a 3 or 4 minute clip that could be promoted much more widely. We had a discussion about that with Lisa in the Eyeke Community Council chat that she's been running, which is awesome. So really excited about that, but wanting to have everybody's permission and also just see if it's cool with everybody, basically. I wouldn't want to put out just short clips of people and promote them widely if people don't want to. So basically I said, yes, but if people want to review it and have the opportunity to approve the video clips before they publish or don't want to or have some other opinion about it, then we'd be very happy to hear it to provide the best experience possible for everybody here. And this can be a great way to not only promote Eden Fractal, but also promote the work of each community member too. And also spread the word to help everyone enjoy these profoundly helpful games and tools. So there's more details about this at the edencreators.com/56, where you can find the links to the consortium polls. And then also there's a little thing here, just real quick, about where clips may be promoted publicly. Right now I'm publishing on the Eden Creators YouTube channel. It has like 50, 60 subscribers, so we want to get that up. We discussed previously like millions of subscribers would be awesome. And so we can promote it there, as well as when other people want to record and publish, I encourage that. Also, I have the Eden Creators Twitter account, my own personal Twitter account. Everybody else can do it too. I just put out some of mine, but I would think it's best if everybody helped promote it, and community Telegram and Discord channels, and during interviews and community shows. Basically, when we have these short clips, then we can promote it on all sorts of articles and stuff like that. Also at the bottom of this page, there's an article about dams, which shares a lot of my vision for how what we're doing we can work together with this collaborative video making process to make amazing video content. There's a whole bunch of information here that I'm going to work to curate better in the future, but DAMS basically stands for Decentralized Autonomous Media Studios. I have some introductory videos where we explain it, and then also lots more information and related posts about how I've been thinking of this for years, ever since Eden came out. And this is one of the main values I see in Eden, basically, about how we can make awesome videos together. So you can watch videos to learn more. I'm happy to discuss more. We discussed that at Eden Town Hall and several other places. But yeah, there's some information about that. And then also, if you scroll down in this, you can also see information about the Eden Fractal Pomelo pitch sessions, or just public goods pitch sessions that we held over the past couple of weeks. And I think that those and the speeches games that we did for the anniversary, and also about the Notion, because I mentioned how the Notion projects can help us. You can click on the links to learn more about that, and the Signals games. Lots of articles that are in progress. I'm going to be sharing more about how these can all work together. I'll also try to be pretty concise here, and if people want to raise their hand or jump in at any point, then feel free to do so. But there's articles in case people aren't familiar or want to learn more about all these different games we've been playing, all these cool experiences we've been having in these videos that we've been creating that are currently in long form content, but how we can cut them into shorter pieces to feature the best features and so forth. So that's a little bit of an introduction. I suppose I'll just continue with a couple more, or just have more slides here, just to provide more of a detailed overview. During the Eden Fractal anniversary, we celebrated this during week 53, so that was a month ago, 4 weeks ago, and I've been working a lot with Rosmari. Rosmari recently joined the Eden Creators team, and it's been a huge pleasure working with her, and she's been helping publishing videos and promoting and collaborating on all these different ways to promote the anniversary. And if we had more funding and more resources, we would have been publishing this like right away, but we're working the best with what we have, and also creating a lot of new processes as we go along. So it's been a bit of a lag time and a delay, but we have some really exciting plans to promote the anniversary, as well as the pitch sessions that we did and all the great speeches. You can see our plans and what we did on edencreators.com/anniversary plans, and you can learn about how we played the 2 new games, Fractal DJ and Speeches. We also just released this video, as I showed before. If you go to edenfractal.com/videos, then you can see the full video. And working on making clips for Fractal DJ and clips for the speeches and stuff. These were 2 new consensus games which were really fun and inspiring. And then we're also working on, well, there's this article I shared last week, edencreators.com/pitches, where you can see pitch sessions, the proposal from last week, and then the pitch sessions from the 42nd meeting and 41st meeting. I'm also working on publishing those videos with Rosmari from the past 2 meetings and curating this article better. But just to give you an idea of some of the games we've been playing that inspire the content, and the Signals game that I've been working on with very much with Gnome's help, and also with Rosmari's help, and everybody's help here for participating in trying out this new game. There's an article out here at edencreators.com/signals, and it's kind of an old article. It needs to be updated. And there's a video here from a while ago, and then there's lots of other information tidbits that I'm planning to add here, like long, pretty detailed things. So I've been thinking a lot about this. I went on the fireside chat this week and was sharing how this can help communities. Thanks, Lisa, for joining, and hope to see you again soon. I saw she said that she'll be back later. She has somewhere to go. And yeah, I just want to provide a bit of update on where we're at with that. So I've been working, I recorded a few videos with Gnome and Rosmari. Gnome is like a wizard with Google spreadsheets, and that's how we've been doing the demo of the Signals app. If people aren't familiar, then you can watch Eden Fractal 53, and also those articles I shared before. Also working on an article at edencreators.com/anniversary, which will explain all of this much more concisely, hoping to get this out in the next week. But yeah, basically, I've been working with Gnome and Rosmari, and Gnome has helped us automate this. There's some videos that are currently unpublished, but you can see the spreadsheets that we've done, and we now have the Signals spreadsheet pretty much fully automated. There's like 2 or 3 different things I need. So if anybody else wants to run their own Signals games too, or Signals apps to rank speeches or rank anything else in their own events or wherever else, then we can now do that pretty easily. This is the spreadsheet that you can find at t.me/edenfractal, and then we've worked on several other ones. I've been working in Google Docs. We use the Slido app, which is at slido.com, where people can rank people's different speeches, most inspiring speeches, most amusing public goods pitches, whatever it is. And so we can see the results here. So for example, from the Eden Fractal Public Goods Pitch Session 3, which I have open here, then you can see the results. With this, we had 2 different kind of mini games where I said I'd give out 100 EOS total, I believe, or maybe it was 50 EOS. I have to remember and just see exactly what I wrote there. But it's going to be distributed according to the Fibonacci algorithm, according to the top 6 winners. And the most entertaining pitch is with 1 person, 1 vote from Slido. So the most entertaining pitch winners from the Public Goods Session 3 are Lisa, Perry, Duane, myself, Jorge, and Vlad. And then the most useful speech is calculated in the Google spreadsheets. And so if we go, I think I have it over here. Yeah, public goods, most useful speeches. We have all these different tables and stuff. I also spoke with the EOS Nation and PinX team on the fireside chat this week about automating this all with their new substreams and fire hose technologies, which we talked about in a previous meeting. But that'll help us automate this so it's not just on Google spreadsheet, but basically there's a pivot table here, which takes all the rankings and, well, if anybody's not familiar, it takes in into account who's been a delegate over the past 12 weeks and also their average rank over the past 12 weeks, and then that calculates the signal power. And so basically that is how we're determining the winners according to who voted in Slido, and it also shows who voted for who. These are the exported data from Slido. And then when you go into pivot table 2, which is what we have right now, it takes all that data and automatically shares who shared the most useful speeches according to the consensus community. So the winners of the most useful speeches game were Vlad, Duane, Jorge, myself, Lisa, Vlad, Duane, Jorge, myself, and Lisa, and Perry. So that's the top 6 there. Congratulations to everybody who won in that game. And then for the Eden Fractal pitch session number 4, the most entertaining speech was calculated by who shared the most entertaining speech about public good. Once again, actually, no, this is pitch session number 3. Sorry, my slides are a little bit disorganized. This is Eden Fractal pitch session number 4. So who shared the most fun speech? This was Patrick running away with it. Patrick sharing a great musical song, and Duane also sharing playing the Turanje or whatever and playing some fun music. So big shout out to sharing fun speeches about public good, promoting great grants on Pomelo. Jorge, myself, Perry, and Tadas also in the top 6 here. And then the most beneficial speech, we can go into the signal spreadsheet for the most beneficial speech after we run it through all the calculations. Then Tadas came out with the most beneficial speech, speaking about his work with firmament and albedo. Congrats to Tadas and Eyeke, number 2. Rosmari, number 3, had some great speeches that were kind of impromptu. So excellent work, everybody. And Jorge and Duane and Patrick also running the top 6 there. I meant to pull up the anniversary one, but I will just pull it up real quick because I think I forgot to. So if I go to, I think it was called Anniversary Speeches 2. My apologies for being a little disorganized here, but in this spreadsheet, we can see who won the most inspiring speeches. We previously announced this a couple weeks ago, and the winners for this one, for the most inspiring speech, were Jorge, Gudasol, Rosmari, Gnome, myself, and Vlad. This will be distributed the EOS that I said that I would distribute. I think there's 150 EOS totally for the anniversary game. So this will be distributed according to the Fibonacci algorithm. And then there's also if we go back into Slido and go to the Eden Fractal anniversary event that I created, then you can go here and go to the analytics page, which I think is, where's the analytics page? There's an analytics page which shows the polls. Oh, here it is. If I scroll down, go to the most amusing speech, and the most amusing speeches during these events were Patrick, Rosmari, myself, Gnome, Jorge, and Tadas. So congratulations to all the winners. In the article I mentioned at edencreators.com/anniversary, which I think it's over here, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm planning to curate this much more simply. I'll probably feature this video as well as just break it down so everybody can read it. And I'm also planning to show our video clips from this meeting because we had a bunch of amazing video clips. And right now there's a lot of to-do lists and stuff there. Also going to be sharing articles about Eden Fractal's first meeting and the EOS anniversary, which was in the same time too. So working to curate all this in one spot that's close together, but want to let everybody know. Also Gnome, he's been super helpful with all this stuff. So big shout out and huge thanks to Gnome. He suggested using quadratic voting for the signals games, which could be another different way to do it for a different kind of game. And I looked into Allo. Also Pomelo is working on EOS, doing great work, but also Gitcoin has been operating for a while. They released a new software called Allo, which has open source software on EVM. And the founder, Kevin Eyeke, talked about how there's now a tool where you can do this in seconds, create a quadratic voting for different games. So that's potential for the future of signals. That might be another way to do voting in addition to the Slido app where we can vote. I've been talking with Eyeke about doing signals games for open mic nights, and so I think that this could be a really powerful way. We're just kind of proving it. So here at Eden Fractal, and huge thanks to everybody for your participation and testing the software. Apologies that it's been taking me a little while to get the rewards out. I've been dealing with all these technical things with the cool spreadsheets. I'm thinking about sending out manually. I'm kind of debating this right now, but I'll provide a bit more details. I appreciate everybody's patience and watching too. For one thing that I want to mention, I'm working with Rosmari on organizing this all in Notion projects, building a lot of the infrastructure so that we can scale this up and be able to do it much faster in the future, and also provide a way that people can do this effectively for their communities. Basically, we can make templates on Notion so that anybody can do this kind of thing with their community and get up and running. I recommend people check out notion.so/projects, and also if you go to edencreators.com/Notion, then you can see the past few weeks, or the past 3 times I believe that we've discussed Notion and how it can be helpful. This new projects feature is a really helpful way to use Notion that we've been using to collaborate on this. We have a project that's not showing up totally here for some reason when I show it, but we have a bunch of projects about how we're going to promote the anniversary as well as the pitch sessions. And you can see, for example, we have a page for creating NFTs for Fractal DJing speeches. So I said during the meeting that I'd be rewarding everybody with NFTs, custom NFTs. You can see kind of a to-do list here about making NFTs the top 3 winners, and also everybody who participated or everybody who joined the Eden Fractal will get an NFT too. So I think we're going to make like 7 or 8 NFTs and make a pretty big NFT studio with Eden creators, but figure out the best way to do that. In this edencreators.com/anniversary article, actually, we had I shared an NFT already, where I just minted one so far, but I worked with Gudasol and also Rosmari, and we filmed a episode, or we filmed an episode of where Gudasol showed us how to do the NFT. So I'm working on that. It usually works with Bounty Block, but Bounty Block had an issue with the Atomic Assets API, so that currently has been working, so it's been putting a delay on it. But Facings is another tool that's open source, built on EOS from the Detroit Ledger Tech community, which I'm thinking about using. And actually, just this week, Rodrigo shared on the Fireside Chat new updates about this, which I think will make it a lot easier. And so I think I'm going to reach out to Rodrigo. So figuring out we'll release them as soon as possible. We're going to release NFTs for everybody who participated, and one in Eden Creators, or in the DJ game, the Fractal DJ game, which you can learn about at edencreators.com/DJ, where people shared exciting music. And of course, you can scroll down to learn more about this exciting new social game where people share music. And big shout out to everybody there. And the speeches game, there's some kind of draft articles for all these to where people can learn more, but basically speeches for everybody who participated and everybody who won here, and going along to make video clips for all these to get the word out more, so we can invite more people to join Eden Fractal meetings and Art Fractal meetings and Alien Worlds Fractal meetings, and just help people cooperate with these games and empower their communities with them using all of these systems. And one other thing I'll mention here on this note too, well, there's edencreators.com/pictures, which I think I showed. Sorry for repeating myself a little bit. I was trying to organize this as best as possible. I've also been working with Vlad on deploying the Eden Fractal software, which you can learn about at edencreators.com/tools. Specifically, if you scroll down a little bit, then you see a table of contents, and you can see the Fractal app that Vlad has been building. James Mark built the foundations, and also many other people have helped. But basically, the app that we use to submit consensus results and stuff like that, and also basically all the things that we do to distribute respect and stuff like that. I've been working on Vlad and learning how to basically kind of be more of a developer. He's been showing me how to install the Dune software and stuff like that. So I'm working on setting this up on the Eden Creators account, and perhaps like the music.fractal account and stuff like that, so we can create more of it. We're also creating tutorial videos so anybody else can distribute tokens and start their own fractal more easily without having to rely on just like one person or anything like that. But yeah, there's a lot of details basically. So yeah, it's been taking a little while because we're working on just establishing the workflows to publish videos more effectively, establishing the workflows to share NFTs more effectively, establishing the workflows to distribute EOS more effectively. You might do some of this manually, and then also just establishing the workflows to organize this all with like Notion projects and the stuff I was sharing before. But I want to give everybody an update about this, and also kind of just share a little bit of the future. And a big part of this comes down to funding too, because we really do like need more funding to grow this as effectively as possible. We discussed this previous episodes. This is my message. I appreciate everybody who helped fund my work on Pomelo with Eden Creators and Fractal Apple and Eden Town Hall. I've been behind on the Town Hall episodes, and we're catching up on the Eden Fractal episodes. Huge thanks to Rosmari, who's been helping this, although need to raise more funding to do it in a sustainable manner. And also, we really want to grow the team so we can have many more people help, because we're doing such really super helpful stuff here, and we need to get the word out more by making more great videos and then establishing these workflows so that we can do these competitions more easily and quickly and so forth. So that's been a long presentation. Maybe I'll wrap it up there. If anybody has any questions or comments, then happy to hear it. But I wanted to give a little update about what we've been doing over the past, I guess, 4 weeks since the anniversary to get this set up, and then also the future about how once we get these things like the NFT distribution, EOS distribution, and collaborative like video creation workflow and stuff in Notion, then we can really start to scale it up so that any community can use these processes, so we can grow and attract many more people to Eden Fractal and help all communities benefit from these consensus games. Shout out to Lisa too, who's been doing great work reaching out. So we have a lot of pieces in place for future growth, and I'm curious to hear everybody's thoughts about that. There's the other topic proposal that I made there about if you're cool with sharing videos publicly, like video clips. So I can get into that in a bit, but first I'll pause there and see if anybody has any comments. Any comments from Tadas, Eric, Rosmari, Duane, or Patrick? I'll also note one other thing I'm working on is having some background music too, so we can play music when people are thinking. But anyway, see, Tadas is on music.
So what do you think? What do you think an implementation of dams looks like?
So, I mean, I think we're doing it already, but we're just not doing it nearly as
Yeah,
effectively as it could be done.
but it's go here, go there, go that, do this, here's some information. I'm saying if we actually set up a studio that people go to, what is
Uh,
that experience like? If I go to, let's say Rosmari is actually going to record me when I learn to play guitar again, when I get up to that, and we go there and maybe there's going to be some art or something in that. And so we go to dams. How do you see that working? Just to get thinking about this, as dams is a place that people go to connect in. Now their piece may be lots of different places, but that central, what is that like when I check in as a dams user, Rosmari checks in, or Duane or Patrick or Tadas? What do you think that looks like?
Thanks for the question, Eric. So I'm still figuring out the best way to explain it. Like maybe, dams is a great way to explain it, but there could also be other ways to explain it. But basically, um, it's kind of a multi-part process. So one of the parts of the process is just what we're doing here, coming to meetings, everybody taking turns, taking 3 to 5 minutes to share what they're working on while we're recording. That is kind of like the filming process. Like if we're a movie studio, part of the movie studio process or part of the production process of making a movie is going out either in your studio in your film studio in Hollywood or wherever, or going out making a set, or going out in the real world and just filming. And that's basically what we're doing. For over a year now, we've been filming and getting a massive amount of content where people are sharing
Hey,
what
but
they're
I'm
working on.
talking about taking a bigger, higher level this. So here I am. I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything about fractals, anything. I'm just somebody, and I like the idea of media, or that somebody would help my get published, or I could get a group together. This sounds great. So talk about what you think that process me like, from me who doesn't know anything about you to saying, how would I view this as getting involved, what it would do for me, how I would get started. I'm not asking for specifics. I'm just starting the brain going of thinking in terms of people. The hardest thing it's very easy to do things like we're doing now, and it's harder, but still doable to come up with the concepts. What's really hard is going from a concept to let's doing. That's really hard to get that smooth flow of here's an idea, here's let's check in and get going.
Great feedback. Thank you very much, Eric, and thank you very much for the question. I have an answer, but I see Patrick raise his hand, so I'll pass it on to Patrick first, and then I can answer afterwards.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. To complement what Eric stated, yeah, that's very smart, talked, because imagine here we are the OGs, basically, every week, the same guys, women also, nice. But if you are someone new and you watch this, I was trying myself to take some stepping back. We don't understand anything, what it is all about this. So if you want to understand really the things and straight to the point, we need some updates. And I tried to do that with you, Dan, every 2 months, hidden fractal update, a kinda sort of decentralized autonomous media studio doing short video, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, not more, well time-stamped, well promoted, using the bees, sometimes not, pushing that on Twitter account, my Twitter account, for example. And I think that should go in this direction more and more, to do shorts, straight to the point, very well organized, structured, and then the people will pay more attention, I think. Because if you push now today on consortium proposal about shorts and this kind of things, is because you are thinking about doing the hidden fractal more, let's say, marketed, we say like this. So to have more people joining, not only from the EOS, from different platforms like Alien Wolf Fractal, coming here, hidden on EOS, also using the hidden fractal process. So all is linked. But in order that the people pay more attention, I think that's very important to now take all this content, because there is a lot of content, to be honest, a lot of content, and to rationalize. And you say always about funding. Yes, sure, you need funding, as everyone here, myself included. But I want to be very honest with you. You should be focused, not on too much things, because I think there are a lot of things into this hidden fractal, and I think it's the place to put the tools, consensus tools, games tools, to help other platforms. And we have to show this value. Notion website, what is building Rosmari, the signal tool that you have used for the Fractal DJ, that could be used also for other use case. So I think you should put all that into a good package, and promote this package. Not promote the entire thing, otherwise the people maybe will be lost. So be focused on something, and with let's say a context, a mission. I know that for this hidden fractal we have not really a mission. We want to have the best experience possible. Yeah, we want to have the best experience possible, but that's not the mission. The mission here, we are a catalyst of tools, consensus tools. There is the fractalgram, there is the React web app. If you promote that very well and you do yourself an update, that will come from the creator, from your mouth, and not from someone else. By stating that, I want to say, I have promoted a lot this hidden fractal. At a point, I think that's your project. You have to promote that. You have to use Rosmari. Use Rosmari. Use Rosmari. What a sentence. No, you have to work with the people into this hidden fractal, the core team that is producing something. You promote that, and then inflate that will go step by step. Okay, I leave at that because I think I will speak too much. So, but that's what I want to tell you. Otherwise, I don't tell you, and I cannot see me into a mirror. So I prefer to say, and we have to push you to the top. So that's what I want for this hidden fractal, to have more people joining also. And last point, I think an agenda is very important, because when the people join a meeting, if they don't know what we will speak, why they will join, if they don't know what we will speak. So I think the topics should be like an agenda, 5-6 topics very well in an agenda. This could be a screenshot, something that is put into the Telegram in advance, 2-3 days before the meeting. And yeah, I think that's what I see for improvement, rapid improvement. That could give a lot of, by the way, a lot of return with not too much effort, but consistent, week after week, always an agenda like this. Because us, we are very implied. We know what we are doing here. But for someone totally new, he will not really get it. That's my point.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you very much for all the
I
advice.
am happy to have tell you that, because I was in fear to tell, but at a point, you know, I think Eyeke is the same. At a point, we have to say, because we want to help you.
And I think somebody that's approaching this from a very, zero-based concept approach is saying I'm either an independent that has this idea that I'd like to do stuff, or we're part of a group and we'd really like help for our group to make things together. So those are two paths to help people hook up with similar people and form networks just to connect. The other thing is a group that's already formed who would like to do what we're doing. And so that should be seen as the intake. So when you go to this visual representation of dams, it's like, you know, where do you start? Are you looking for others to collaborate with, or do you have your own group that needs help doing this? And so Rosmari could be a video editor, but she's looking for Patrick who has content that needs editing. And Duane wants to add some art to that, you know, those kind of things, where you're connecting artists with editors, with people with skill sets that might find something they want to do together. The other one is somebody that has a very focused group where, you know, think of all the groups in Alien Worlds, just for example, Kinder Miners, Crypto Monkeys. I mean, how many groups are there? Well, I mean, tons. And they're going to be, and once people said, they go, oh, we could form a group too. So I think that might be where we might want to at least think about in that user experience is how do we help existing groups? That may be easier. And how do we help take individuals and then break down the skill sets of those individuals? Because we might have a mentorship program like you're mentoring Rosmari, Dan. We might need, you know, Rosmari someday may want to mentor people or be willing, you know, people may be willing to donate little bits of their time. Like for years, I've donated, you know, an hour a week to people who need marketing and can't afford it. So people that have these skills, even if it's an hour a month, I think we might want to look at that as who'd be willing to help mentoring people in these. And we need to create a visual framework where all this stuff comes together. That's not even creators. Even creators is great, but that's for us. It's not for crypto.
Yeah, totally.
It's not for.
I think
Crypto Oasis, and we've got some, and to think about it, if you look at the Center for Governance, if you look at the advocate offices, you've got Crypto Oasis. There's a group, World Talent Economy Forum. There's a group, Fractal Worlds. You know, those are all groups that we could. Interplanetary Council, there's one. So I think we should probably start working with the groups that are seeds to start working on a workflow, and we can just kind of do it for them. And as we do it, we can actually write down that workflow and say, oh, we're connecting people with a mission with editors and musicians and artists.
Yeah. I think we spoke a lot of time about organizational structure. That sounds sometimes a word like government, organizational structure, or maybe too much organized. That's organizational structure is more like, for example, Idononios on this term, taking some stepping back after 2 seasons of 2 years of Idononios already. That's begun October 21. Now term 7 coming. That's need 6 terms to figure out maybe how to go with Idononios, but okay, that's good. They have made a good job. Some stepping back, making with Gabriel shout out to him, making how you name it, this workshop, strategy workshop. And then from this strategy workshop, they lay out the purpose paper, the bylaws, and the documents and the flow charts to finish. Very digest now. So maybe for Hidden Fractal, starting last year, end of May, beginning of June, something like this, evolving week after week, month after month, and now we are 1 year after. Maybe that's the time to take all what was produced and make like a, let's say, strategy, a little strategy, take some stepping back from the core team, some brainstorming. I know that you do that for sure. And then come to the drawing board and say, okay, now we have a strategy. Now we can do video very efficient, very well organized, our meeting better organized, etc. So, but with a plan, not just on like the wind going to the left or to the right. So very, very well organized. And then if it is very well organized, then you go faster, you produce faster, and you are maybe less, let's say, thinking always about receiving money. Well, okay, I know that we need some money for sure, but you do also the things maybe more flow, let's flowing, because you have a smooth processes that are very well crafted, and then you produce better. So I think there is no miracle. A good strategy for this hidden fractal going on, because now there is alien-involved fractal with. So where is this hidden fractal into the middle of all? What is the positioning with the other things that they are? Maybe you will find some redundancy. Maybe you can avoid some redundancy. Maybe you can optimize. But okay, before to optimize, you have to take some stepping back and doing a good strategy. I think the beauty, we have Rosmari that has joined us since the beginning of the year. So she has a fresh look eye, and others that are very in the core team, and others that can promote this hidden fractal. I am okay to continue to promote. That's okay. I will continue to promote as I can. But I think, yeah. Now I think the tool that should be used, it's maybe some strategy, some stepping back, some reflection, some exactly. Yeah, nothing new indeed. Sorry.
No need to be sorry, Patrick. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Eric. I'll pass it on to Duane.
Just the same sentiment, and just seeing the low-hanging fruit of opportunities, to piggyback on what Eric and Patrick were saying. The new vision. Look at the people that have new visions of Eden, right? So Eden will need a fractal process, and this is Eden on, Eden fractal. So I think the process there, I will do my best to, it's supposed to be an incubator now, and I'll do my best to promote that they need a weekly fractal governance meeting to come join here. To, if there's going to be an incubator, what did you do in an incubator? After the incubator, did you receive funds? What's your project doing? And to really highlight what you are passionate and what you're learning about, and what Rosmari is helping about, is this video production suite that you're saying needs money. Well, I would sense that the subscription basis, I've just saw some annual subscriptions that just go through, and I was like, what am I paying for? But people find value in paying for things. And if they could sign up for this service, for the things that, through the marketing, like, sure, we're doing a process of governance that keeps people on track. Okay, fine. And yes, it rewards reputation. It's a reputation system. Great. But having the rest of the world see these video productions that, oh, look at this new project that's getting money and went to an incubator. Oh, look, they got funds. What's the real pathway? The pathway is, we need users to use that new product. And this could be a gateway of also doing the marketing. The second group is Haifa. Okay. So we have a new suite of circles and way to move money, and they received a lot of funds. They have to look successful. For them to be successful, they have to make ENF look successful. It's a small group of people. Well, they'll need some sort of, this service as well, right? They need something that gets into the reputation that has, so, and then with Alien Worlds and our other DAOs. So needing more users, I'm just saying that, I don't think it's these people that aren't interested in governance that are even in other chains, even though that's a nice option now that we have IBC to go between chains and go into Ethereum. But yeah, I can see the services that you provided. Yes, doing the brainstorming, the focusing, but we have other groups that are doing the same that need this service, like Eden and Haifa. So with those two groups, brainstorming and how we can consolidate the services, make it really direct, and charge for it should be on our roadmap.
And I think
great job. Look how many different, what Patrick's also saying is keeping up the tools. This is necessary, even if we don't go in that pathway, to keep up the tools for the next, fractals, like Alien Worlds, like all the groups that Eric mentioned as well, right? So yeah, pat on the back for all the work. Now it's time to get, slowly, and all the volunteer work. Now it's, starting to build that pathway to get paid for your time.
I would propose that we shoot for the unconference to have the minimum capability we can do available. Something very simple, understandable, and easy for people to do. Even if it's set up a mentorship program, even if it's some basic free training so that we have something. And when it comes to a subscription base, the biggest challenge with subscription base is people quitting. The number one thing you can do to get people to not quit is set up goals and give recognition and points toward that goal. And so what you want to do is get a goal that is very easy to achieve, and that gets people to start and get in. The next level is a goal that's harder. And then you say, well, by the end of this thing, here's the end goal. So if you just say, here's the end goal, and that's all you do, it just seems unattainable and it's hard. And if you get something too hard, people get disappointed and quit. So if we can come up with some simple thing we can offer, even if it's free in terms of where we're going with this, I think the unconference would be a great place. Even if we're doing something like the equivalent of headshots, come to the damn studio there and we'll do your 3-minute intro video.
Eric, Rosmari asking, Eric, what do you mean by doing a membership programs and for who?
Mentorship.
Oh,
mentorship.
Program.
Mentorship,
Well, mentorship.
And myself, I answered, sorry to have answered instead of Eric, but my answer to that is the mentorship program is for this Eden Fractal itself also.
Or it could be for what we're trying to do with the Alien Worlds. I'm interested in starting a dams within this idea of getting governance out. For people making governance content, mentorship could be, oh, what's my specialty? Editing. Okay, I will do editing mentorship. That's just the ability for somebody to say, I will give some period of time, one time and some frequency, one off or once a month or once a week to teach, what are the skills? There's actually pre-production, production, and post-production skills. And by the way, I can say this because I ran several media studios.
Is there into this mentorship program kind of bounties?
Well, you get volunteers. You get volunteers of people willing to give some small fraction of their time, and then you get people who want to learn something, and you match them up.
Because if you want to incentivize the people to join and collaborate with creativity and doing something into this Eden Fractal, you have to reward them with some EOS, with something. not only because they join the breakout room, also because they are creating something with you. So you have the people to help you then. You have this workforce, like the bees. You have this workforce, but you need to give a reason to those people to collaborate, because the people, sorry to say, they don't collaborate and do something.
Well,
If they are not rewarded, that's life. It's like this a little bit. If they don't receive a little cookie, something, they will not really collaborate. That's sorry to say. That's so.
No, you do it the other way around. You look for either people that are passionate about learning something. They've got a vision of having a skill. So for them, it's career enhancement. If I do this thing, I'm going to walk away with this skill. That's why people volunteer. That's one of the number one reasons, but one of the top three reasons people volunteer at nonprofits is for career enhancement. The other reason people come is they go, well, I'm the bees and we have this vision. Where can we get content? So if you come here, you're helping them get their story told. So you have people that are passionate about get stories told, even if they're 30-second stories. In fact, that's better. Teach them how to break up their messaging into very small chunks or in panels and things like that. You just teach them how to tell their story more effectively.
And this mentorship program could be brought by C4J, sorry, or through or whatever it is. But you have a specialty about that, doing mentorship program for other organization.
Yeah, we could. Well, I just imagine we would create a physical representation of a DAM studio within that building and say, here it is. Come here. It'll just be a website or a virtual space or eventually both. But it just come here. The trick is not to say we do everything for everybody. The trick or brainstorming is about is what can we do that's really simple and valuable to people? Something at the very, even if it's just record your meetings.
For example, the brainstorming session, that was already a component of what could be a mentorship program. Indeed.
We could be doing brainstorming sessions for these groups.
I was doing.
That's what DAMs could do. Or DAMs could be, we'll let's help people create a 30-second video. And the key would be is, this is the stuff we'll do for free. Then we should have a list of people who you can pay to help out with this thing. But the big thing is we will train people in your group to take over those roles. So here's some free stuff. And then you can either train your people to build your own team, or if people believe in the cause, we have all these volunteers, or, here's a list of people you can pay to do these roles. But the key is having run a studio and put all those pieces together. It's difficult. Oh, I got to call the editor and the pre-production people and get the guy over there with the camera. That's the biggest problem. The two biggest problems is, number one, it's expensive. And two, putting all those pieces together is really hard. If we can just make it easy, you show up here, here's the record. If we could just create, we're not let's do a documentary for people to start. That's not what we're doing. We're like, let's do something really simple that we can do for a lot of people who want something that's, repeatable. There's always a market for custom work and people will pay for that if it's good, but just the very basics.
I am from this school, doing the things iteratively in small iteration and repeatable, scalable, and then you can repeat your processes because you have made for yourself and you see.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for, I'll give you an example. One of the big problems that people have is social media content. So imagine if you're a store, a restaurant, a club, something like that. So when we had our studio in San Diego, we realized that hard is it. So we collected social media and edited it for people every month. And what we did, we just sent out a team, and they would just go visit all our customers. They could do the whole thing. a couple hours. And then we took those things and we put them into editing templates.
Yeah.
You know, oh, here's a thing, template. And so then we would either give it to them so they could download all their content, and we would put music to it, which was basically template things. We would just, so it was easy. It wasn't like we're going to create a custom thing or do that. It's just like, oh, here's these, you know, 10 types of things you do. We go out and get the video, we drag and drop it, edit it quickly. So we would shoot all the video at one time, because you could do that in downtown because all the places are close. You could walk to all our customers. The guys would just carry their, you know, and they knew we were coming on these days. So we do day and night. So we would go and get the kitchen, you know, the guy flaming up a steak, or a, you know, a group of people chatting and whatever. So we would get those kind of images and things. So if they had really wanted to do for real what it would cost us to do that, it would be thousands of dollars. But we could do it for, you know, hundreds of dollars, because we did it all at once. We made it easy. We came up with a template that we could just apply over and over and over and over again for much less money. That's all I'm talking about, is what's a template we could do that we could offer people just to get these difference. And, you know, you can sponsor dams. One of the sponsors of dams could be Eden. So
Totally, Pomelo.
You know, so it becomes a marketing thing, and people go, okay. So to me, it's just you know, a marketing program that's a case where we would eat our own dog food, because all the Eden members would be able to create content to promote everything we're doing here. Duane and his initiatives could do it. It could be a benefit. He's trying to talk to his groups of people, his group of people that are doing transportation and planting trees. It would be very easy to say, oh, I've got a team that I can help to do these things, to do the simple things. And if I need to go beyond that, that becomes easier too, because, you know, who are you going to hire if you pay people? Somebody you've already worked with.
No, I think improvisation is great sometimes, but you need to have sometimes also a little bit template, marketing plan or something like this. Yeah. I don't love to use words, but just to be clear, an organizational structure, not for this entire hidden fractal, but an organizational structure for every piece component of this hidden fractal. So the proposals, there are templates for the proposal, by the way, then for the proposal, how to create proposal on consortium. There is a template for that. You were creating a template for that. So there could be also a template for how to market with through a mentorship. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes sense. Otherwise, we continue like this without to take some stepping back, and then we arrive into a wall. So better to know that the wall is there, and we have still time to adjust the focus. I think before to come to the conclusion, oh no, now we are like stuck head, or we cannot move anymore. So we can just readjust a little. I think it's about the focus. Just put the focus different angle, and yeah. That seems so easy, but in practice, that needs to be done for sure. Bon, okay. I was stating into my breakout room that I will never speak too much, and Duane is backing me also. No, I was stating into my breakout room indeed that I love you. I was thinking that I will be no more joining too much, because I was just thinking myself what I am doing here. But indeed, I am joining because, as I stated into my breakout room, I want to give the respect to the people that are into my breakout room. And I want to give you also the respect to tell you the things. Otherwise, you are just sheep, and we are not lions. So that's very important to say the things. Otherwise, I am an hypocrite. So I don't want to be an hypocrite. So
Okay.
that was
Well,
that. Yeah, but basically, that was that. You can ask Rosmari, she will explain you. Okay. Now I say that because this is not too much co-shoes. You are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 today.
and
6
it's recorded though too, so who knows how many
No,
people
it's
will see
okay.
it
It's
in the long
okay.
run.
Nothing co-shoes. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
That's my words. You are in a plane, by the way. No, that's your chairs. That's your chair.
That's my desk. Sorry, I
Yeah.
meant to mute that. Yeah, I
Oh,
was moving up and
okay,
down
okay.
into the Aurora Borealis firmament.
No, I appreciate a lot, Eric, the advice of Eric as always. He joined week after week. That's mean a lot. And Duane joining also. Tadas always here. Tadas, you are invisible, by the way. No, it's normal. Okay.
I'm here listening.
Okay. And Rosmari always joining, so and me always joining also. Also, if I am a bastard sometimes.
Well,
okay, so
sounds great. Thank you very much, Patrick, for all the great thoughts. And yeah, I can respond here. I know it's been we're at an hour for the agendas game, and usually wrap it up fairly soon. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody being here and all the thoughts. And I have some notes written out, so perhaps I can take a few minutes just to give a kind of quick response to some of the points that were raised there. Of course, feel free to jump in if anybody has any thoughts, but I'll just share some of my thoughts that I was inspired by. So first off, I just want to say thank you so much, Patrick and Eric and Duane, for all the advice, and everybody too. Thank you so much, Rosmari, for helping, and Tadas for helping in everything you do, everything everybody does, everybody's watching and has been participating in these meetings. Really appreciate it so much. If you have more thoughts here and future times, I'm very happy to hear it. I'm super thankful, and all your advice and feedback is incredibly helpful. Also, if we haven't heard much from Tadas or Rosmari, but if there's anything you want to share here, then it'd be great to hear from you. It's super helpful in so many ways. Super helpful for me. I think super helpful for everybody in this group. I'm sure of it, and super helpful for everyone in the world. So one of the reasons why I talk about funding and so forth is because I see this as like a profoundly helpful tool and game and solution for everybody in the world. And I think that everybody here are heroes and saints, and like we're doing God's work. You can put it in different ways, but I just think it's profoundly helpful for everybody. And so can express appreciation both on a personal level and then just for everything everybody's doing here, and all the feedback here was excellent. A couple high level points. I really appreciate the focus on new people and thinking about it from the perspective of new people who are just joining. I think that's incredibly important because the world has 8 billion people or whatever, and so far there's just however many hundreds of people who are aware of these things. So we need to think about it, how other people are seeing it for the first time. Also, Eric's points about the different kind of audiences that we're reaching out to and providing value to, in terms of whether it's just somebody who's independent and they're looking to help themselves, or collaborate with a new group, or groups as a whole. And then I think a few people mentioned like the need to package it. Like we need to package it in a way that's very simple and immediately speaks to people's interest and see the benefit of it. I'm working on brands, and I have ideas about how we can make brands specifically for musicians or YouTubers or scientists or different groups and so forth. So I could share a lot more. These are just some of the notes that I shared in general. In terms of like some things that people said specifically, Patrick made great points about sharing update videos. I really appreciate all the update videos and all the promotion you've done. Super helpful.
I have a proposal. Here.
Okay.
That's come from the heart. Okay. Go to the soul and to the mind. Okay. I want to propose you, and tell me, Rosmari, if you want to join also. I want to do an update hidden fractal, and Tadas, an update hidden fractal number
7, I think.
7.
Yeah, we've done 6 so far.
Do you want to join at middle of July? Because that will be published on July 23rd. So do you want to do an update hidden fractal number 7? Or do you think that would be maybe better to wait? I do that every 2 months. So next workshop after July 23rd is planned for September 23rd, but that's a little bit long. So I let you brainstorm between Tadas, Rosmari, and Dan, and you give me an answer on next Wednesday.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Patrick, for the offer as well as the previous 6 ones. My answer is yes. I'd be curious what Rosmari and Tadas think, but I think that is an excellent idea, and we can.
Okay, so if Dan is stating that is a good idea, Rosmari, Fractalian woman, will say,
She give a thumbs up. There we go.
No, it's not an alien.
Yes, of course.
That's the wrong finger. You should have raised the
Fractalian woman, something like that, maybe.
1, 2, 3. Voilà.
Oh.
And Tadas, do you want to join? We could do a firmament 5-minute update. No, it's not enough. Maybe more.
We can discuss
maybe
the
we can
details
ask
more in
Cliff.
detail later. Yeah, I see Tadas on mute.
Yeah.
Tadas, do you want to respond now or save it for later?
Yeah, maybe. Generally, I wouldn't mind having longer periods between these, but of course, if others want to do this sooner, they should.
Last one was the May 23rd.
Yeah, so we could also
And now,
do.
now it's July 23rd, so that's make 2 months. Yeah, okay.
Also, on that note too, you mentioned, Patrick, like working more with Rosmari, and Rosmari and I were talking about. She had the idea of doing an interview where the two of us could discuss and do kind of an update as well. And I think that's kind of what you mentioned a little bit. And we're also thinking about doing Fractal Apple again in the next couple weeks too. So, but I think that more updates is better in general. But I also see Tas's point. So how about we discuss this offline? I think it's a great idea, and I really appreciate the offer. But let's discuss timing and see what everybody wants to do and stuff like that offline. And then I'll continue here. But yeah, thank you so much, Patrick, for the offer, and I'm really excited about it.
No date specific. That could be middle of June, as that could be 3 days before the publishing on the 20, or that's very open. Okay.
Cool.
Don't promise anything, but I saw some thumbs up from Rosmari, so I think. Or I do a hidden fractal update just with Rosmari.
Sounds good.
No, that's not done.
That could work too. All right, well, let's talk about more the details. I think it'd be awesome to hear some Eden Fractal updates from Rosmari as well. I would love to see more Eden Fractal updates from Eric and Duane and everybody else as well too. I think we can do it more in the future. But yeah, anyway, I have a long list of notes here. It's not super long, but I know we've been here for a while, so I'd like to just get to some of these responses, so we're not keeping everybody for too long. But thank you so much, Patrick. Really appreciate it. You also made a great point about very good organizational structure and having topics like that are very clearly defined and provide a great experience for people joining. I think we've been doing great innovations with agendas, Vlad's propaganda game, and also working on with Town Hall with Notion, and that kind of ties into what I was talking about Notion projects. I think so. We're improving over time. I think we'll have that some templates and some things like that, so we can do it awesome at Eden Fractal and many more meetings and keep on improving. Also positioning of Eden Fractal, like I think Eden Fractal, it's a community, it's kind of at the root of a lot of these Fractal condensed games, along with shout out to Genesis Fractal, but we're pioneering a lot of these games and tools and shows, and also making amazing shows and supporting all communities with these processes. We've already helped several other communities grow with these processes, and I think that we'll do many, many, many more. I think these will empower all communities. Duane, thank you very much. Great points about collaboration with Eden on EOS and Haifa, and also the ways to monetize and to receive funding for the way we're doing and figure out the best models. We had a discussion about this a bit. I don't know if you were there, but at the beginning of the EOS ship meeting, Lisa was also doing really helpful work, figuring out the best ways to monetize, and that's really important. I talked a little bit about Slido. I'm paying $250 a month for Slido, or a year for Slido, and I want to upgrade the plans. And there's so many other like enterprise services and stuff like that that we can learn from. Haifa's also got a monetization model as well, so stuff like that we can do. There's also the original fractally vision of people being able to earn for their respect that they're earning, which I think is really important, and that's like an ideal way to do it in the long term. And I'm also thinking about selling Notion templates as well, because I think this can play a big role. Lisa also offered in the beginning, she's from reaching out, and so the training and stuff like that, I'm also happy to help with that. I got some funding as well as Rosmari and Tadas and Vlad for helping with the Alien Worlds Fractal and so many different ways. But really appreciate all your thoughts there, Duane, and also looking forward to more collaborations with Eden on EOS and Haifa. And that's a great idea to brainstorm about how to best collaborate and best build these revenue models. We'd be happy to discuss it with you and everybody here. Happy to raise funding for everybody here and just help everybody achieve their goals in general. That's a big part of our goal here. And then if anyone wants to jump in and share any responses, then feel free, of course. But I suppose to be expedient, I'll keep moving along here. I see Tadas. Thanks for the meeting. See you. Thanks so much, Tadas. And I'll see you. Hope you have a great day and a great weekend, or great weekend soon.
The only thing I would leave with is we might want to think about creating a template for custodians. state of the planet address or something that they should be doing to talk to their people that we could help them with. You know, you create a background with the Eyeke and something, and with other plants you could do that. So if we create a template for that, I think that might be something. So I'll just put that out there in the brainstorming bucket.
Excellent. Thank you, Eric, for putting another great idea in the brainstorm bucket. We have a big bucket, drop by drop, filling up. And yeah, I'll also add, I thought your idea about shooting for the unconference, deliver MVP, and like very simple. That's awesome. Something very simple we can offer. And I think mentorship program and training is really helpful. And that's a great thing to offer in addition to the tools that we're using and showing people how to use them. Also, the open mic night games, I think that's a super exciting idea that we talked about at least Coffee Shop and the Center for Governance. So really excited to collaborate with you there. And a lot of these games we've been pioneering here, I think, can be spread and everybody can enjoy them. So looking forward to that. It brought up the incentives for contributors and volunteers, great points about career growth and also learning skills. And also there's networking, of course, meeting so many amazing people here. People can use these tools and games to empower their community and accomplish their goals. And also funding opportunities as we develop this more can be great ways to incentivize people. And the mentorship program, I think that's a really good idea. Lisa's been messaging me quite a lot about building certifications so people can be certified to like host events and stuff like that. And I think that's an excellent idea. Lots of different skills. Many were mentioned, like hosting and moderating. I'm building templates for that to help people do that from the things that I've learned. And then also giving presentations, like people can give amazing presentations during their group and then people can get rewarded more for that. Administrating the games, like doing fractalgram and also working with like the MSIGs and stuff like that. Making proposals on consortium, as Vlad said, producing the videos and all like the video editing and video production, creating websites, creating articles, storytelling, marketing. Eric and I just made a tutorial about creating websites, and a couple weeks ago, Rosmari and I made a tutorial about editing videos. So all those different things we can include in mentorship programs, and that can be a way to help many more people cooperate with this, as well as reach out and also potentially work into the funding model as well. And then lastly, Eric made some points about like what it is at dams, like how would it be? One, I think the physical representation of the dams is very interesting, and also like in the metaverse in like a virtual reality. One thing I want to mention too is I think Eric mentioned like Eden Creators is for us, but one of the brands I'm working on that I know you mentioned interest in collaborating there, Eric. I'd be happy to collaborate with everybody in this, however much people see fit. Fractal Joy, I kind of announced it 2 months ago, and I haven't had a huge amount of time to share it yet. Oh, I see Patrick had to go. See you. Thank you so much, Patrick, for all the great words and all the inspiration. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great day.
Bye. See you.
Bye. See you. Yeah, and I just have a couple last things, then I'll wrap it up within a minute or two, my speech here. But yeah, Fractal Joy, I think it's very lightweight compared to Eden Creators, and so we can focus specifically on advocating for more people and helping people understand the benefits. And then just to your original question about how the dams would be, I can come up with a better answer later, but just off the top of my head, like the first step is like communities can play games with friends, or new people come to Eden Fractal, play social games, and they record videos while doing so. So kind of like we do at Eden Fractal, and then anyone can watch these. I have edenfractal.com/shows, which I've been curating, which includes interviews that we've done with the Fractal meetings. Eventually we can create clips of the Fractal meetings. We've done some of those so far, as well as shows that are like associated with it. Like you can do different fractals, like Alien Worlds Fractal and Eden Fractal, and also like Fractal Apple, and Patrick was hosting the brainstorming sessions and many interviews. So all these things kind of cooperate along with the actual show that people can shoot. And then I'm also working on the edencreators.com/dams page, like production processes page, where we can make Notion templates for each of these things, basically for aspects like filming and marketing and hosting and all these different things. Like there can be a Notion database kind of template that includes all these things. So people go to the meeting to play the games, and then the other place for asynchronous communication could be a Notion where there's pre-built templates that provide details about how they can do each step. And then there's also like settings where people can give each other different tasks and bounties for it and so forth as well. And then along the way, there's also the social games where people can earn while helping each other. So there could be like Noam was talking about using signals games to incentivize people to make video clips and fractalgram and so forth. So that's kind of a high level overview of how I'm seeing it, along with just building out the tools and templates and the training along with these templates, so that everybody can both use these for the communities that we're currently participating in to grow them more and to empower their own community and set up their own dams, whatever we call it. With that, it's 18:15 UTC, so we can wrap it up anytime. I'd be curious if you all have any more thoughts. I thought, by the way, the the consortium poll that I put out for are you cool with Eden creators producing and promoting short video clips that feature working in Fractal? There's been 4 people who voted on that. I voted yes, Tadas voted yes, and Duane voted yes, and I believe Rosmari voted yes, but she wants to review and have the opportunity to approve video clips before they're published. So I'll put this out maybe again in the future when there's more people, maybe next week's meeting, and see, and I'll just get approval with each person to see if it's cool. But appreciate y'all, your support and all the advice and all the great ideas, and also appreciate your willingness and interest in being in video clips to help promote what we're doing as well. With that, does anybody have any more comments or thoughts you want to share, either in response to what I was sharing there or just general topic or anything else on your mind before we start to wrap it up? It looks like Duane's nodding. Looks like he's happy. Eric's also nodding too. I'd be curious, Rosmari, if you want to share a little bit. I know your name's come up several times this meeting, and I heard you say a couple things. No need to, of course, but if you'd like to share anything, then feel free. We've been here for a while too, so we can wrap it up anytime. I could get some hats on if you all want to go hats on Golden Fractal. I see Rosemary's unmuted. Any thoughts here?
And thoughts. It's been a great productive meeting with lots of feedback and I guess narrowing the vision somewhat, but also expanding it in different directions and just getting everyone's input. I mean, it's great to hear. And yeah, many things that I've thought about before and that are brought up for the first time, or if not, and just seeing that, I'm not the only one thinking about that is great. And yeah, it seems like we're moving basically slowly, but we are, which is great.
Sounds great. Well, thank you very much, Rosmari. I'm excited to be moving with you and Eric and Duane. Thanks so much for all your help so far. As I said before, it's been a huge pleasure working with you, and I'm stoked to work together with you more. And also a huge pleasure working with you, Eric and Duane. I really appreciate everything we've done since we started hanging out over the past year and a half or whatever. And thank you to everybody for joining the meeting. Big shout out to everybody who is here, and big shout out to everybody who's been here so far and who's watching. Thanks all very much. I suppose if anybody has any last words you want to throw out, then feel free to jump in. But otherwise, should we sign off with maybe like a go Eden Fractal on a 3, 2, 1? I have a hat here if we want to continue the hat tradition. And I see Duane's got a surfing hat ready to go. Very nice. Looks like Rosemary's inspired to go get a hat right now, so we'll see what she comes out with. Duane's put it on backwards. Rip curl! Rip curl, don't get caught in the rip tide. The rip curl? What is a rip curl exactly? Is that like a rip tide? Nice hat.
I think so.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope you've been enjoying the waves.
Funny.
It sounds good. It looks like Eric is going to go with his hat, or with his hair as a hat today. So sounds good. And I'll go for mine real quick here. And then once again, my hat is too small for this. I'll try to balance it as it goes off. And yeah, thanks everybody so much. Are you ready for 3, 2, 1? 3, 2, 1, 0. Go Eden Fractal!
Eden adios!
Eden adios! Eden Fractal! Thanks so much, Duane and Eric and Rosmari for being here. Thanks everybody. Woo! That time I did not break anything, which is nice. See you all next week. Same time every Wednesday. Thanks all. See you later.
Hey.